prosecute me because there was not sufficient evidence to lead to any prosecution. He also stated that he did not find the evidence of Amatekwe reliable, and also that America consistently denied that he had ever received any note from me. Since the SIB report, the trial of those who were convicted for the murder, in spite of the fact that I appeared before the SIB and denied all the allegations which have been leveled against me, that I was a prosecution witness during the trial, and that the AG did not prosecute me for the reasons that he had given. People still continue to level allegations against me as a conspirator in the crime to murder the judges and Major Akwa. For the past 20 years, I have been living under the pain of having these allegations made against me year in, year out, until today. And I have done my best this morning to demonstrate to this commission why I believe that the SIB, after they issued their initial report on the 6th of November, began a political conspiracy against me. I can't precisely say why, but I believe because of the actions that they took and the circumstances of the time, that they were determined to have me removed from my position in the government, to discredit me and thereby discredit the government and prepare for the overthrow of the government. I have named the people who I believe took part in this conspiracy. Members of the board: Justice Azukrab, Mr. Lindsay, Reverend Dovlo, Jobo, Reverend Jobo, Mr. Quiz is now dead, and Mr. Amui. Those who helped them were, of course, some members of the police group attached to them, Idana and Odro, who took that famous statement, which the ISIB refers to as the historic statement of 23rd November 1982. And of course, Brigadier Nunu Mensah. For the reasons that I have given you regarding the circumstances under which he knew beforehand what Amatekwe was going to say in his statement of 23rd November. Mr. Chairman, I said that for 20 years I've been living under the pain of this monstrous allegation that I participated in this crime. I'm just pleading to you, members of this commission, to make available here the persons that I have named so that I can look them in the eye and ask them certain questions about how they came to engage themselves in such an elaborate frame-up which nearly cost my life. After all, this commission has given its platform to an international con man, Mr. Krisasha, who came here, raved and ranted for 2 hours, making all sorts of allegations against me, and I'm just pleading to give some opportunity for me also to question these people. After all, former Chief Justice of Ghana, a priest, Jobo, former head of CID, to ask them why they took part in such a conspiracy to frame me up. Since the end of the trial, the execution of Amatekwe and the others, people have come to me and told me, because of the allegations which have been made against me, people have come and told me what they knew about this crime. And as I've said in my statement, fortunately, as a result of the recent allegations which have surfaced in the papers, especially the performance of Krisasha before this commission, where even one member of this commission encouraged him to go and publish those monstrous allegations in a book, which he did.
Please continue with your evidence. We've said enough about Krisasha. And I have already explained that if you want anyone to be brought for cross-examination, you have to go and make a statement in the case docket on which that person gave his evidence. And we'll try and bring those persons for cross-examination.
Thank you very
Please
much.
try and speed things up a bit for us.
Since this campaign to have me implicated in the murder of the judges, people have come to me and told me what they know about this crime. And as I said in my statement, Mr. Morte Akaji and Mr. Fosu have come to tell me.
Please don't mention that gentleman's name.
I won't.
I know that he's been on the air, but in this commission, we don't want to mention his name until we've contacted him and heard his reaction.
Thank you very much. I did not mention the name in my statement, and I'm aware of
just
that.
a precaution. That's
Thank
fine.
you. People have come to tell me that the man who took Mr. Amatekwe round and showed him the houses of the judges is alive, and they know this because the man confessed to them. I know that Mr. Morte has sent a statement to this commission, and I was told that Mr. Fosu was also going to send one. He doesn't live in Accra, he lives in Kumasi. And I'm sure that he will do so soon. I'm also aware that before Amatekwe died, he made a confession in the chapel of Usherford prisons to Reverend Damois and Asasi Jima, and he told them to come and apologize to me for what he had done against me. Both Father Damwa and Asasi Jima told me of Amatekwe's apologies shortly after Amatekwe was executed. I'm also aware that at the range where he was executed, before he died, he also made a confession and asked me to forgive him or apologize for what he had done to me. Mr. Chairman, I want to react to one or two things that Chris Asher came to say here. When Chris Asher, before I ask for him to be cross-examined, I think that I would like to clarify one or two things. I will ask for his.
Yes, that's all right. All right, go on.
Thank you. Mr. Asher came here, and in an effort to find a motive why I should get Justice Ajepong killed, Mr. Asher told this commission that Justice Ajepong tried a case that I took against the military intelligence. And it is because of that trial, which Justice Chris Asher claimed was conducted by Justice Ajepong, that I hired America to kill Justice Ajepong. I would like this commission to know that the trial was conducted by Roger Kosa, who I believe lives in Zimbabwe. This is a matter of public record. And the investigation department of this commission could easily have found out that Chris Asher was lying. And members of this commission could have been supplied with that information, and they could have asked Mr. Asher here about that allegation which he was making against me. Many people in this country believed it. And yet it was so simple for this commission to know that Roger Kosa was the trial judge and not Justice Ajepong. Chris Asher also stated here that he had talked to America, Jandu, and Senya when he was in prison. And they gave him statements. The most important one, of course, is the statement of America. We have not yet seen that statement emerge anywhere. Why should this commission believe what Chris Asher says the convicted persons told him in prison against what those people said directly themselves to the SIB and to the tribunal? Why should we believe what Chris Asher is saying they told him in prison against what the people said themselves when they appeared before the SIB and when they appeared before the tribunal? When Mr. Adebuga came here, he also made a claim that I was in the office of the chairman when Amatekwe came to announce that he had finished the job, meaning he had killed the judges. There are three versions of this story. One from America, one from Adebuga, who came and told this story before this commission. We also have another version from Chris Asher, who claimed that America told him. And we have a third version from Amatekwe himself in his testimony before the ICIB. I want to say before this commission that I was nowhere where any statement had been made according to Adubuga version, Amatekwe version, or America via Chris Asher version. I was nowhere where any statement was made saying that the judges had been killed.
Captain, in the case of Amatekwe, was it in his second statement or first statement?
No, this is a statement he made before the ICIB.
That is the second statement.
No. When he was being interrogated.
When being interrogated.
Evidence. Yeah, evidence. I have more or less concluded my testimony regarding the matter of the judges, but I would like to also answer some allegations that have been made against me over the FRC and PNDC government periods. Squadron Leader Tego has come here to make some allegations about me advising the AFRC about the executions of the generals sometime in July 1979. I was not in Ghana when the June 4th revolt occurred. I left Ghana in April 1979 for Angola, where I was living, and returned to Ghana after the executions had taken place. No one contacted me or asked my advice about the execution of the senior military officers. And Squadron Leader Tego is telling a falsehood if he claims that I was in Ghana at the time the senior military officers were executed. That is blatantly a fabrication. I've also received the testimony of Alex Ajay and Al-Hassan Akati. It is true, Mr. Chairman, that I said in my statement that I could not understand the nature of the allegations they were making. And I will explain. In the case of Alex Ajay, in his last statement, which he made to the commission, after he had appeared here, when I read that written statement, it appeared to me like he was either withdrawing or qualifying the allegations. And that is why I said in my statement that maybe if he is called and questioned, he can clarify the nature of the allegations that he's making, because I don't understand. When I read all his statements, it's precisely what he was trying to allege against me. I also say that in respect of Al-Hassan Akati, that maybe from further questioning we can determine exactly the nature of the allegation that he was also making against me. I heard the chairman make some reference to that, and that's why I'm explaining. I put in my statement my experiences of torture under state officials.
I'm afraid I won't allow evidence about that. There's no petition from us, from you.
I am not a petitioner.
Yeah, so please.
I am not making any petition about those allegations. I'm simply telling this commission my experiences.
I will not permit evidence about your experiences of torture because
Why
you
are
have
you
not
taking
petitioned.
evidence from others?
Because they petitioned.
Adebuga came here, made
Please, Mr. Tsikata. I don't want any any confrontation with you. I have ruled that unless you petition this commission, you cannot come here and talk about matters concerning yourself. We've had a whole year in which we were receiving petitions from all aggrieved persons. You chose not to petition. You have been brought here on a subpoena to give evidence about the murder of the judges. Now you won't tell us about your personal appearance of torture. I will not permit it. So please, that is that.
I am explaining to you that I am not a petitioner.
I said
I
I'm not
understand.
permitting you to say anything about your experiences of torture. That is the end of the matter, please. So if you have nothing further to say about the murder of the judges, then you have to conclude your evidence.
Mr. Chairman, there is a perception.
It doesn't matter what perception there is. At the end of the day, we will submit our report to the
I'm
whole
not
nation.
making any
And the whole nation will decide for themselves whether any perceptions are justified or not. We are not interested
I'm not
in your
making
perception.
any allegations against
Mr.
anybody.
Tsikata, please do not answer back. You have to obey the chair. You have to obey the chair. I'm not permitting you to give this kind of evidence. If you are finished with your evidence about the murder of the judges, that concludes it. Mr. Mengel, does he have anything more on the murder of the judges?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
And
then
furthermore, there are names, he has named names, which the people are not here. And he has to make a statement, and we contact the people before he will mention them.
All right.
The chairman, that's all for the
In
witness.
accordance with our procedure, I will ask the commissioners if they have any questions for the witness. No, actually, Mr.
How about
Asamoah
my
first.
counsel?
If you have any questions for your witness, please ask them.
Mr. Chairman, my questions may relate to matters you don't want to listen to.
Well,
So, I don't have any
Mr.
questions.
Shut up. If you have no questions on matters which are admissible, then please take your seat and we'll continue. Yes. Now, I'll ask the commissioners if they have any questions for the witness.
Good morning, Captain. You are welcome to the Commission. You yourself have said some 5 minutes ago that you have been a victim of false accusation for the past 20 years or so. As far as I'm concerned, this is an opportunity for you to clear your name of some of these false allegations that have been leveled against you. And I will expect that you welcome this opportunity. Now, my question has to do with Amatekwe. Captain, I would like to find out from you precisely when it formally came to the notice of the PNDC that Amatekwe might be implicated in the murder of the judges and retired army officer.
In the interim report submitted to the SIB, by the SIB to the PNDC.
Until that was made available, the PNDC wasn't aware that its former officer or member was in any way implicated in this murder.
Formally, no. It was the interim report that asked for Amatekwe's arrest.
Now, Captain, I would like to explain, because in the course of taking evidence concerning the murder of the judges in relation to the petitioner, Mrs. Jemima Akwa, the issue of operational paths came into play. I would like to explain to me how this system operated. Who could issue an operational pass and under what circumstances?
The operational pass is issued from the operations department of PNDC headquarters. And it is normally issued by the operations officer or his deputy, or the officer who will be on duty if there is an emergency. Those are the only people who can issue the operational pass.
Officer, you are referring to army officers, I suppose?
Oh, yeah, military officers.
Oh, I see.
The police also have their own system of issuing operational passes, and I believe that it will follow on the same lines. Yeah.
You know, I have in mind, this question relates to the vehicles that the convicted prisoners used in carrying the people that they murdered. And it came to our attention that their movement was during the curfew hours and that they had access to operational pass. So I'm wondering who might have issued this operational pass to the convicted prisoners for them to carry out these acts.
The operational pass would have been issued by the officer, the operations officer in PNDC HQ.
I see. Is it possible for us to identify a particular officer?
If you
so
see,
that we can question.
If you see the pass, you will see his signature on it. The officer must sign the pass.
The officer must sign the pass?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it will not be very difficult for us to trace back.
I believe it will be in the exhibits of the ICIB. I'm sure it will be. Okay. If you look in the list of the exhibits of the ICIB, you might find the operational pass.
Okay. Well, thank you, Captain. That will do for me now. Thank you.
From Tsikata, good to have you here. I haven't seen you for a long time. In your own judgment, as the chief of security at that time, was it possible for the 4 young soldiers, corporals, lance corporals, to undertake that major activity without authority from the superior authority, without orders or instructions from the superior authority? Could they have done that on their own initiative?
My dear General, one of them, without anybody's authority, killed my relative. Those young soldiers were not taking official orders to go and kill people. They were not taking official orders.
Kojo, wouldn't the circumstances have been different? Your uncle, I say, wouldn't the circumstances have been different? I don't know the sort of reasons why they would have killed your uncle. I don't know. But whether they knew him or there was some sort of personal reason, I don't know. I don't know the circumstances. But here we have the judges and our own colleagues, some Aqua, whom they didn't know. They didn't know where they lived. They had no sort of relationship with them. They bore them no grudge. Could they have done that on their own initiative?
In the evidence of the ICIB, they all stated that they were doing what they did under the instructions of Amate Kwe. That is what all of them said in the evidence before the ICIB and before the tribunal. Amate Kwe was a member of the PNDC, yes. That is what they all said.
Did he hold any special position?
He was a member of the PNDC in charge of TUC affairs.
So does it mean any member of PNDC can get hold of any of the soldiers and give them orders to do anything?
That is what they did. I'm not saying that that is legal. That is what they said they did.
Well, the unfortunate thing is that they are gone. Amatekwe is gone, and it's difficult to. But it sounds a little bit difficult to understand the system whereby any member of government could just order soldiers to, undertake such.
My dear General, that is why Amatekwe was prosecuted and executed. It was not right for him to have done what he did. It was not a matter of system. Amatekwe was responsible for the crime he committed with America and the others.
Well, Chick, thanks for coming.
Captain retired Kojo Tsikata. When did you get to know personally of the murder of the judges and the army officer?
On the 30th of June. In the early hours of 30th of June, I was called by the IGP, Kublenu, who told me that he had reports that the judges were missing from their homes. And he told me that he had formed a task force to go and look for them. That's on the night or early morning of 30th of June.
Apart from that, you as National Security Advisor, what did you do?
That night. Are you asking me that night, or what did I do after that?
What did you do after that?
Thank you. As I said, Kublenu informed me around 3 o'clock in the morning, and he told me that he had formed a task force to look for the judges. At that time, in the night of the 30th, the report was that they were missing from their homes. In the morning, around about 6 o'clock that morning, I came to PNDC headquarters, the ops room, to monitor myself the search for the judges. If you will recall, that was the 1st of July, and I did not go to the ceremony at Pong because of the report that the judges were missing. If you take a look at the report and the television, you will see that I was not at Pong. I remained throughout the whole day in the ops room, in the operations room in Gonda Barracks, monitoring what the task force set up by the IGP were doing in looking for the judges. That's what I did throughout the whole of the 1st of July. In the afternoon of the 1st of July, because it was a holiday, I went to the house of the Chief Justice to tell him what I knew and what I was doing to find the judges. I went to Mr. Palu's house to tell him, and the steps I had taken to protect all the other judges. That is on the 1st of July. On the 2nd of July, we came back to work. And, of course, I came to work as well. And all of us started discussing how we can find the judges, what additional measures we could make in order to find the judges. Of course, sadly, their bodies were discovered on the 2nd of July. And then we began to make arrangements for burial and also to continue the investigations. I also had a meeting, actually. 1st of July was Thursday. 2nd of July was a Friday. On Saturday, the 3rd of July, that's when the bodies were discovered, I believe. 3rd, yeah. Saturday, the 3rd of July. I had a meeting with Justice Apalu and some other judges who were very apprehensive about what had happened. And I briefed them also about what we were doing to find the missing judges as well as to protect all the other judges. These are the measures I took personally over the first 3 days of the report.
So you got to know of the missing